Hi there, welcome to the video. Hello again to return viewers, and this is the third of a number of quick reviews I'm doing towards the end of 2025, just to get these out of the way before the celebrations begin, I suppose. And so this one I'm looking at today is Heavy Light by Horatio Clare. Now this is a book I've had on Amazon and other wish lists for a number of years now. I believe it was published around 2020, 2021. The pandemic lockdown gets mentioned towards the end. Not too much to say about this, although it did strike me as very good. Horatio Clare, the author, is a journalist, a radio producer, a writer. He's a polymath into all those type of things, and this is his story of a mental breakdown in the late 20-teens. I think this book is really kind of divided in two halves. The first half of the book is his account of the psychosis and hypomania. The episode, he starts on a skiing trip to Italy, I believe it is, or Austria, I can't remember. Actually, it's been several weeks since I read. Somewhere in Western Europe, anyway. His wife and his young child are out there to go skiing, and he develops intense paranoia and madness, basically. He thinks that he's a key part in some international operation which he must strive to take part in, and the aliens have threatened the Earth with destruction or something unless the grand powers, the Russians, the Americans, the Europeans, what have you, compete with each other for some type of prize or something that they must achieve, or else. And he thinks he's a major player in this. So everywhere he goes in Europe and then back in the UK, he's seeing the locals and the towns and the cities and the resorts and what have you as agents of the grand powers of planet Earth, combating each other, and he's a key part of it. Now, without going into detail, I think this is probably one of the best, if not the best, account of this type of madness, psychosis that I've read. I experienced this myself on at least 2 occasions back about 20 years ago. Not something I'd wish on anyone, but this captures it probably better than I've seen it written before, as I just said. His monomania, his hypomania, his madness is probably a little more intense than mine, but it seems that he's been through it before, and he's developed skills of dissuading people from trying to help him or give him medical help. He's very erudite and can talk his way out of being detained by the police and the medical authorities. He basically blames it all on marijuana. A little later in the first part, he does get committed to a mental hospital where he basically rages against the authorities and wants himself to be let out, makes an appeal. So that's really the first half, his madness and the results of it, how it affects his family and friends. They all rally around trying to help him, and he's basically a bit of a bastard to them all. And he uses his status as a well-known or semi-well-known journalist, producer, reporter, whatever, to kind of finagle his way out of the consequences of his illness and so on. Second half of the book, I thought was a little lesser. He basically recounts his steps in his madness, talks to the people who are involved, and kind of does like a documentary type thing on the various parts of the mental health industry or infrastructure, as you like to call it, the nurses, the social workers, the police. While the interviews and discussions he has with these people are quite interesting, I found it kind of lesser after the heightened first section of the book. And he does kind of lean on a kind of anti-psychiatry leaning. He basically backs people who have the idea of using basically more talk, more outdoors, maybe what we'd call these days touching grass therapy, is against to the old model of a chemical imbalance which needs to be treated by medications. As someone that's affected by these things, I'm not sure I can comment on that clearly. I'm within the system still myself. So anyway, it's interesting. Horatio Clare, of course, is a very witty and what can I say? He knows his stuff. He's well researched. You do see the two sides of him: his madness and his sharpness. He is also a bit of a bastard to people around him. He pretends that he's still on the medicines that he's been prescribed when he's not. He lies to his wife and what have you about this. So that's a bit dodgy of him, but he thinks he knows the best. So you can maybe be the judge of that. So that is Heavy Light by Horatio Clare. First part, a kind of account of madness. Second part, an account of what we do to mad people, basically, and his thoughts on that. Okay, we'll be back soon with another book.